Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the reunion of Final Fantasy VII Remake podcast. I'm your host, Ky, and joining me once again today is, of course, my incredible co-host, Vyzz. How are you, Vyzz?
I'm pretty good today, thank you. I had a headache earlier, but it's gone now, thank God.
That's really good. So today on the show, we also have a very special guest, a member of the Final Fantasy VII Remake community. It's Robin. How are you, Robin?
Hi, thank you so much for having me. It's a true honor to be on this show. I've been following it since like the beginning, so it feels scary to talk to you guys.
Well, we're so glad that you could join us today on the podcast. And, we really appreciate you taking the time out to discuss our favorite game, basically, Final Fantasy VII and the Final Fantasy VII Remake.
Yeah, it's my favorite game as well. I'll talk about that a little bit later, but yeah, it's the pleasure is all mine.
All right, so I just want to take a second to shout out to everybody who listened and subscribed to the podcast so far. So we've got some pretty awesome feedback. It's been extremely positive, and we are very appreciative to everybody taking the time out to actually listen and spread the word about the podcast. Also, don't forget to go ahead and like and subscribe and leave us a review. We are giving away a physical deluxe edition of the Final Fantasy VII Remake. So, in order to enter, what you have to do is make sure you subscribe on any of the podcast platforms that are out there. Leave us a 5-star review and write us a text review on any of the podcast platforms that you guys listen to your podcasts. On our first segment today, we are going to be talking about the recently released theme song trailer that Square Enix released last Friday, which was January the 31st, which was actually the anniversary of Final Fantasy VII in Japan, which came out in January 31st, 1997. After that, we'll be talking a little bit about our most favorite Final Fantasy VII mini games and our hopes and dreams for mini games in the remake. And we'll discuss which ones we think might be making it into those different parts of the remake and also how they'll be reimagined. So before we start our first segment today, Robin, I just want to ask you to give a brief overview of who you are and what you do, and I guess your experience with Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah, sure. First off, as I said, I'm super excited to be part of this episode of the podcast. I've been listening to you since like the first episode. I am a Swedish podcast host for a show called Pixlar, and that basically translates to a pair of pixels, since I'm doing the show together with my wife. And it has grown like during the last 6 years, and we are climbing the charts and are currently one of the biggest shows in Sweden. And I've been collecting video games for the past 20 years with Final Fantasy as my main focus. And it's hard to describe how much Final Fantasy VII has changed my life, to be honest. I have been so into the whole Final Fantasy VII world since that very special Christmas day back in like 98. So talking about the remake with people who love it as much as I do just gets me all happy and super, super excited.
Yeah, same here. I can feel you.
Yeah. I just love this community, this growing Final Fantasy VII remake community, Reddit threads and everything, feels so awesome.
It does, yes.
So we're so excited and happy that you could join us today for the episode, like I said before. And we'll be talking about the theme song trailer right now. So we are going to recap all the stuff basically that we got in the trailer. And then each of us will be discussing, I guess, our opinions and our thoughts about the trailer. So the trailer featured a new theme song, basically composed by Nobuo Uematsu, called Hollow. What'd you guys think about the song?
I must say I really like the song itself. By itself, has a really nice atmosphere and ambience, so to speak, to it, and feeling. But I just can't feel Final Fantasy VII yet from it, because I don't feel a connection yet. But it's an ending song as far as I know, and if it plays during the ending credits, I think it would be really powerful.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my take.
Yeah, and I thought it sounded quite like a James Bond theme song.
Okay.
And I liked it, but I really don't hope that it will be like a super big part of the game. I just wish like it would be the ending credit song or something. I don't want to hear it like 5 times during the game.
Same here, yeah.
There was something posted in the article. We'll talk about a little bit about this later. The composer article that Square Enix released, and Uematsu said that basically the track is going to play during the game. He doesn't specify if it's going to be like at the beginning or at the end or whatever. I think the best place for it to be, like Vyzz, you already said, is probably to be at the end during the credits. I'm not sure how it'll fit in like with the rest of the game. I did enjoy it. I thought it was a cool kind of different project for Uematsu to kind of dig his teeth into, because he's so used to composing orchestration for symphony orchestra and that sort of thing, which obviously we love and we've heard over, you know, the multiple years of Final Fantasy games that are out there that he composed for. And I like this. It's something new. I liked the lyrics. I liked the fact that it did have a vocal part. I did appreciate that. It kind of reminds me of the Turks theme, just with like the new version of the Turks theme with the guitars and everything kind of overlaid, you know, and very kind of dreamlike sounding, like behind the vocals. So yeah, that was basically my takeaway from the song. I thought that it fit with the trailer really well, because the beginning of the trailer, the first half of the trailer, we got a lot of story based things, and then the second part of the trailer, we got more of the, you know, the gameplay and the action, and that's when we heard new versions basically of the orchestration of the original Final Fantasy VII battle theme and that sort of stuff that amped up the energy a little bit more from the first half of the trailer. So I thought it was really effective in that way.
Yeah, trailer construction was really well made, I think. It also fit extremely well with the Promise flashback with Cloud and Tifa as children at the beginning with the guitar, and when the harmonica chimed in, it immediately changed to Genova and Cloud's conflict, so to speak, and I really liked that.
Yeah, I actually like the harmonica part best about the song, really.
Same.
So we did, like Vyzz just mentioned, we did get our first look at Kid Tifa and Kid Cloud during that famous Promise scene of them sitting at the water tower. Tifa looks pretty much identical to her original model. Cloud's outfit was a little switched up, where he's wearing like a white shirt. What do you guys think about that first scene?
I thought it interesting that Cloud wears this outfit which he wears even further in the past, when they pieced his memory back together. That's when he wore blue trousers and the white shirt. And in the Promise scene, he originally wore I think, green trousers and a black or dark gray shirt.
Yeah.
So they switched this up, and I don't know why, but I kind of like it. And what I also find interesting is that he wears a black undershirt that just peeks out a little bit on all seams, which is exactly the style that Tifa is wearing right now, like the black sports bra underneath her white tank top. So there might be a connection there.
Yeah, you might be right, actually. I'm just gonna set this up because when I saw this trailer, I got like a notification, and I was at work. So I took like a break, and I locked myself up so that no one could see me or hear me, because I had like this feeling that this trailer would be super emotional for me. I just had that feeling, you know. So I locked myself up and started watching, and this first scene pops up. And I was like, oh my god, I'm gonna cry. It's like like every time I see parts of from the game in trailers and stuff, I'm always like, this is what I imagined that the game really looked like when I played it back in '98. So seeing all those scenes come to life with current gen technology, it's like mind blowing every time I see something new from this game.
Agreed, yeah.
I felt the same way. I was also at work, and then I did check out the podcast Discord and obviously the Cosmo Canada Observatory Discord, which was just like blowing up with people who were just so excited, I guess, about the trailer. And I couldn't watch it because I was at work, so I too had to kind of run away and find a spot away from everybody just to kind of watch it as well, like alone, you know. And I did have the same emotional reaction as well. Like I'm watching just the first scene and just, you know, it's exactly how I pictured it basically inside of my mind when I played it, you know, so many years ago. So it was very emotional for me as well.
Yeah, same here, but not exactly at the beginning. Also, I was at work eating lunch when I got the notification or knew that it was a thing. And then I had to sit through work, get home, and then, of course, because I have a YouTube channel, I needed to record my reaction, so I had to hold off watching it. Although I first didn't really know if I should watch it or not, because I tried to keep away from spoilers, especially with all the leaks. So I was in avoiding spoilers mindset. But then I thought, nah, I need to provide my my honest take, my reaction, and the analysis for all the people that watch my videos. So I did that, recorded my reaction, then tried to record the rough analysis. But I had to take a few minutes to compose myself because I wasn't able to speak. Because then everything, all the emotions were bottled up during those 3.5 minutes watching it. Then I couldn't speak, so I had to take a few minutes off before keeping recording the analysis. It's a really good trailer.
Yeah, I saw that video of you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
me too.
I saw you just get choked up, and I'm like, me too, man, me too.
Yeah.
Like I felt it like inside of my soul. I'm like, yeah, same.
But the real choke up you didn't see. I cut that out, but I put text
Yes.
on it. So yeah.
Yes. That was really well done.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, so the next scene we got after that, we did get a closer look at Genova, where the party, it looks like they're inside of the Shinra headquarters, where they're confronting Sephiroth, who appears to be standing in front of the Genova. So what do you think, Vyzz, about this scene? Where are they?
My current idea is that this is a whole new chamber within Shinra HQ, possibly somewhere further down because it looks huge. And in the original, it was just a dome, a small dome next to the test tube Red was in.
Yes. Yeah.
So they completely rearranged everything, it seems. So it's hard to say where exactly, but definitely not above the 60th floor because it doesn't seem to be enough room to hold her. So somewhere on the ground seems to be almost the best bet.
Right.
And yeah, I'm still not sure if the others also see Sephiroth or not.
Okay.
If it's really him that's there, at least the Genova version of him. I have to think about this some more when actually writing the script for the analysis. But I have a few ideas, but I'm not sure with which I'll go.
Yeah, people online were kind of saying, like I was just reading, you know, through the Final Fantasy VII Remake blogs and the subreddit and everything, and people were kind of confused because he doesn't appear there during the original game, right? So people were like, you know, they switched it up, and, you know, I'm okay with that. I'm just interested to see where it's going to go, basically.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, I'm kind of confused. Is this supposed to be like before or after the fight with Rufus?
Definitely before, because when we fight Rufus, Genova's already out, and there she's still contained, headless in this tube. So it has to be before.
Yeah.
And I think it was just today I was thinking about this. At first, I thought, yeah, he's an illusion. The others don't see him, but they see Genova, and they also see Cloud freaking out again. But then I thought, well, he he destroys the bridge and clashes
Yeah.
with Cloud. But then again,
Exactly.
could this be that this is still from Cloud's perspective, and somehow he thinks Sephiroth is there and destroys the thing himself
Right.
for the others? It's yeah, everything is possible by now, I think. Also, Hojo could have released parts of Genova that transformed him into Sephiroth to taunt Cloud and get the reunion going, because he does say something like that afterwards, so it's hard to say which is it.
All right, so we got to look at the whole host of classic characters like the Shinra Company's insane Professor Hojo. We got Scarlet, we got Palmer, who apparently swapped his love for lard for butter, it seems. We also got to see Red 13 or Nanaki reveal, looking incredible. Also, the voice work I thought was amazing for Nanaki.
Definitely, yes.
Yes.
Great choice.
I just want to say that I love how they added the Shinra soldier like acting as a footstool for Scarlet, and then he lets out a grunt because she's so like a diva. She like moves her legs and she's so mean. Like she's so mean.
I love her already.
Yeah, she's depicted great, just perfect, like Palmer.
Yeah.
It's just gonna make it so much more impactful. Like, you know, later on she like slaps Tifa or whatever.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
It's just when you
Can't
get to
wait
punch
for
it,
that.
it's just gonna be like, ugh.
Yeah. Finally, get her to her knees. Yeah. What's also interesting is that in the German and the Japanese version, they still say lard and not butter.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. That's interesting. That I don't know why the English translation or the localization changed for butter.
Maybe that's what they meant for it to say in the original, but the translation was wrong or something. Because
Maybe.
in North America, I mean, like we do, like here we use butter for, we don't use lard. I mean, you can still buy lard for things, but people have more of an association, I think, with butter. So maybe
I
they were
see.
like, let's say butter instead because it's still
Yeah, more people can relate, maybe.
something that's, you know, like oily and really fatty. We're just gonna put that in their tea or whatever. Yeah. All right, so we got a good look at the Honey Bee Inn segment as well. It looks like a new character was revealed. What do you think about this guy? Like, who is this guy?
I'm pretty sure it's a new guy and probably the owner of the Honeybee Inn, or maybe just the main guy of the dancing group, because it now seems to be more of a cabaret and not a just some red light thing.
Yes, yeah, it does. It looks more like cabaret, like you said. So then we see Cloud kind of he's kind of like being taken away, put in a chair, and then I guess the dancer, it looks like the male dancers are doing his makeup actually, because I went back, I thought it was the guy, but their sleeves have white shirts, which I think the backup dancers, does his makeup, and then they kind of dance, and then he leans in and calls him perfect, basically, which I thought it was really well done. I thought it was awesome. You know,
perfection.
Yeah. I really appreciated the changes, I guess, that they made for this segment, but still gets across, I guess, the same kind of message that they were aiming for.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, I'm surprised they showed this in the trailer, actually, because it's like this very special part of the game. And I was like super surprised that they even showed this off, actually.
Yeah, me too, yeah.
I think some of this was leaked like before, so maybe that was their way of being like, whatever, we'll just put it in. You know what I mean? Like Square Enix.
Maybe, yeah. I'm still not sure if we should take into account the leaks when we talk about the trailer, because it was only a month in between. Not sure if this is not enough time to change up a trailer, because I think this has been planned way ahead. Right. Don't just plan and release or construct a trailer within
Okay.
just a week, I think. I'm not entirely sure, but I'm still not sure how much of this is response or how much of this is just coincidence that many parts of the trailer were leaked in the demo or contained within the demo.
Mm-hmm. Well, anyway, we finally got to see what Cloud looks like dressed up with his beautiful dress. I thought he looked awesome.
Yep.
And also, we got a look at the Wall Market rescue mission. For me, it was one of the game's most memorable scenes when I played, through the game. And I was concerned with how they were going to be able to portray this in the remake, and if they were going to kind of back down from the campiness of it and this, because it was a little bit strange back then.
The whole battery thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I thought it was good. So I thought it was tasteful.
Definitely.
Is Cloud using like a hookshot in the trailer? I can't really tell. It looks like something like that. For like a brief second.
He does, yeah. But that's something we get to later, I guess.
Yeah.
So Tifa and Aerith looked beautiful in their dresses. I thought that they were really faithful to the original as well.
They had a few changes, but overall they're pretty accurate, I think, yeah.
Yeah. And it looks like we'll be able to control Aerith during the rescue mission segment, because she's we got a glimpse of, it was one of the shots where she's just kind of standing stationary and you can see Cloud moving, but it looks like we're going to be able to control her.
Definitely, yes.
So Wall Market looks amazing. We also got a view of Don Corneo's mansion.
Inside, outside, and everything, yeah.
Yeah.
And Don Corneo himself, a bit more than this 2 or 3 second clip of him in a TGS trailer, and he looks creepy and greasy as ever.
Yeah, agreed.
We got another look at Roche. Looks like the intro to what might be a battle. What do you think, Vyzz?
Yeah, there will be. They already have an encounter on the motorcycles, as we've seen in TGS trailer. But here he's asking for a second dance, and only with Cloud. So just man to man without the others and without the motorcycles. And I really look forward to that.
All right, like we said before, we did get a Nanaki reveal, which everybody was anticipating. I was super excited about this. I think that he looks even better than he looked in Advent Children. That's my opinion.
Same,
and his voiceover work is a lot better as well.
This is the part where I like exploded when I saw him and when I heard his voice. I was like, man, this is so good. The perfect voice.
They nailed him.
Yeah, definitely.
So it's just a shame that we only get to experience him for a few hours and then the game is done, I guess.
Yeah.
But at least the second game has him from the beginning, all the way through.
Yeah, in the original game, I usually like have him on my party, like every playthrough.
Same.
Oh, nice, yeah. I don't quite remember. It has been a while since I played it last.
So we got a scene where I guess Hojo seems to be watching Cloud from all of his screens in his lab, maybe. He says that he's very pleased with his experiment, basically speaking about Cloud. And then we got to look at the Heli Gunner boss fight. So it looks like the party's outside running up a broken platform, and this is what we were Robin, you had commented about grappling gun. So it looks like they have grappling guns, and we're going to be basically ascending upwards.
Yes, so this part is most likely before they reach the Shinra HQ, when they're climbing up the golden shiny wire of hope in the original.
Right.
So instead of climbing up there, like just between the sectors, now it looks like they're climbing up the remains of Sector 7. So they go up, fight a little, then we see the outlook from the end of the TGS trailer. And then we already see this short broken pathway up top, where we then flee from the Heli Gunner. That's how I interpreted this scene, the events.
Okay.
And yeah, Cloud wants to use the grappling hook, but the Heli Gunner cuts him off, and the battle ensues.
So right after that, we did get a clip of Leviathan summon,
Mm-hmm.
and this is switched up quite a bit from the original. So people, because you don't get Leviathan summon this early in the game, I guess, when in the original, so people were confused and kind of upset. So Vyzz, what do you think is happening in this scene?
I'm not so sure if we still, if the summons are still completely outside of the lore, because the original, they just were there. We got them at arbitrary points, and that was it. They were just glorified spells, so to speak. And I really hope they are integrated into the lore some more. There was lore in the original, but they cut it out, unfortunately.
Right.
So they could put it back in. And since we get Leviathan when defeating Godo in the pagoda with Yuffie,
Right.
this Leviathan is kind of intrinsically tied to Wutai. And the president already mentioned Wutai in the E3 trailer. And Barrett also mentions Wutai in this very scene, so
he does.
The connection might still be there between Leviathan and Wutai, and people have theorized. I think Nanaki, the real Nanaki on Twitter, mentioned this. That his theory is that Shinra stole the materia from Wutai along with all the other materia, because that's why Yuffie is on her quest to retrieve the materia.
Oh, okay.
But Leviathan was among the materia and the biggest one. And yeah, Cloud and company got them back. And this could be also a plot point for Yuffie, or a character point for Yuffie in the second part, maybe.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, actually.
It does, yeah.
We did get a scene inside of Shinra. I think it was inside of Shinra headquarters, but it was a close-up of Shinra kind of synthesizing materia. So maybe, that's them. Like you said, that's the materia for Leviathan, as well as maybe some other summons that are inside of that tank, and they're trying to harness the power, maybe, and then they break in and they like take them, like you said, or
I'm still not 100% sure. I thought that those were summon materia as well at first, but they're talking about cooling the materia down because it reached maximum density or something like that.
Oh, okay.
So I'm thinking that they're creating materia, and while in the creation process it heats up and becomes red, and then they use frost materia to cool it down. Also interesting, they only say cooling it down in the English version, but in the German version they actually say using frost materia to cool the materia down. So it's kind of something lost in translation in the English one. I don't like that.
Yeah, and we also didn't see like the summon bar, that we've seen in the TGS trailer. The purple like summon bar, maybe because it had already been depleted and this was like the final attack that Leviathan makes.
Most likely, yeah.
Yeah, like somebody said, oh, well, I could see an HP bar. And I was like, I don't see an HP bar anywhere on that clip for Leviathan. Like there's no bar there. He's just doing an attack and then that's all we see. Then it goes to really fast to another scene. So, but you do see this. Yeah, the red materia, summon materia is in the bottom right-hand corner, equipped on Cloud, I think.
Exactly, yeah, it is on Cloud, yeah. This is also true for Chocobo and Moogle summon.
Okay.
Also Cloud summoned it, and we see the small red materia dot on his UI. And in previous footage, especially with Ifrit, we also see that when I think it was when they showed off the apps fight.
Yeah.
And we only see this, I think it's called Tsunami, Leviathan's attack. You only see the finishing attack. So I'm pretty sure before that, Leviathan was probably just floating around the place and shooting water spurts at Heligun or something like that.
Oh, okay.
So I think the gameplay is the same for all summons, because it's what we've seen so far. But Leviathan, don't see enough to actually confirm it, but I'm pretty sure it's still the same.
Yeah, it feels like summons will be like a bigger part in the remake than it was in the original. Because when I play the original, I rarely used any summons at all. I never used them really. So, but when I watch the trailers for the remake, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna need to use summons. I get that feeling,
Mm-hmm. That's for sure. I also like that we can control them a little bit, or at least tell them do this attack or do that attack.
Yeah.
Yeah, in the original, sometimes they'd just be lying around in the environment, and then you'd pick it up and be like, oh,
Exactly.
okay.
Yeah.
There was no lore behind it, really.
No.
So I use them a lot, but
the only place, or two places, three, that could kind of connect them to the story a little bit is Priscilla gives us a pendant or a materia that turns out to be Shiva. When we defeat the red dragon in the Temple of the Ancients, we get the Bahamut materia. So this kind of connects a little, and also the Leviathan materia from Godo. But the rest is really random, especially Ramu in the waiting room for Chocobo races. Come on, seriously?
That's random,
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah.
So the next clip that was in the trailer was a Shinra headquarters rescue mission. They showed off the vent crawling, I guess the bathroom vent crawling. Also, the indication that they're all on different floors, which confirms the party will be splitting up on certain occasions, depending on, I guess, the story. Like when we saw Tifa climbing above Shinra Tower, she was kind of like, it was was it the Tokyo Game Show trailer where she was kind of like going across above, like on the roof, the rails, I guess, on the roof.
Well, it's not really a roof. It's just a little bit higher up in the room where they show off the trucks.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I think that part is part of this overall mission, and that's what she's doing where she is, maybe, and then.
Well, my interpretation of this scene is, if you look closely in the UI, you can see on who is on which floor. So Tifa's 3 floors up and Barrett's is 2 floors down. And in the original, when you take the stairs, they also run up at different speeds. So Tifa is always first and Barrett is behind, and she also calls him a slow person.
Yeah.
Yeah, in the original, because he's not keeping up. So I think this is what they wanted to convey, like to keep faithful to the original with that. But now you actually see where they are, and not just kind of guess or see them when you see them. I like
Which
that.
makes sense. Yeah, same. And we got Chocomog, summon, stampede ability. Like was said previously, we got Cloud using Mithril Saber, Barrett using Atomic Scissors, which confirms melee attacks for Barrett.
I'm so glad.
And also we got a new weapon. It kind of looks like Barrett's ultimate weapon, Missing Score. In my opinion, I look closely at the picture of Missing Score, but also maybe the assault gun. It's changed a little bit from Missing Score, but like you don't get Missing Score till later in the original, but who knows? I mean, they're switching this thing up a lot from the original, so
yeah, I'm pretty sure it's a new gun, because you see 2 linked slots and 1 single slot on it, and this is kind of the same tier as the Mithril Saber, which also has 2 linked slots and a single one.
Okay.
But in this trailer, the Mithril Saber has 4 slots, 2 single ones at opposite sides. So maybe it's already upgraded, or it really has 4 slots from the beginning. I'm not sure. But the original game had Mithril Saber with 3 slots. And there's also Tifa with new gloves, also 3 slots.
Okay.
But I couldn't see if one is linked. Probably, one of them is probably linked.
We got a sword dance fight, I guess, with Aerith and Nanaki. It looks like Nanaki's attacking, but it could, in my opinion, it could be like a fire attack that Aerith is kind of throwing at it. But it goes really, really fast. You can see him kind of jumping in the air, and then he lands beside her like really, really quickly. So
Yeah, I think it's both. Nanaki probably attacks him and then comes down after the attack when
okay.
Aerith hits him with fire. And right at the shot before, we see Barrett and Cloud running out of a pipe and jump out, and then the sword dance just comes out behind them. So
Okay.
those two connect. Those two scenes.
Yeah, probably.
We got the motorcycle chase scene again. Looks like Red's in the back, Barrett's on the right, in the BA-37 type motorcycle, which is right next to Cloud. Tifa's driving. Aerith is in the passenger seat, like the original.
Yeah, or at least that's what we assume. We don't see him, but it only makes sense because Barrett and Red are sitting on the pickup truck itself.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if they will keep it true with the original and have the misspelling, because it was like a misspelling on the car in the original game, wasn't it?
I
In
don't
that
quite remember.
cutscene, I think the green car had like a misspelling on it. I need to check that up because I think that's how it was actually.
Yeah, I don't remember.
I don't either. I know the original didn't have a sign on the back, number sign.
No.
Plate. It
I don't
didn't
think
have
so.
one. No.
It was like a logo on the side, I believe.
Oh, that's what you mean. Okay, that could be.
Yeah.
So it looks like we got a Genova boss battle. Really creepy. I think it looks awesome. Also, the work put into the battle environment, like in the backgrounds, looks amazing. Just to create that, you know what I mean? That atmosphere of just being dark and creepy and
Overgrown with random organic matter.
like an alien kind of,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, it looks like from the alien movies kind
Yeah.
of feeling.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. It's really creepy. Also, the skull mask she has on, like the
That was
original.
creepy.
Yeah.
That was so creepy.
Creepy eyes.
Man.
Yeah, if you pause at the right frame, it's really creepy.
Yeah, it was just like you said, it was like you would have to, it was just a little flash. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
you would miss it if you didn't like just slow it down, I guess, and just pause it. People were freaking out because this battle doesn't happen, right? In the original. It's
No,
like
it doesn't happen. It's near.
Yeah, so
I think they probably like moved the Genova battle that will take place on the boat. I think they moved that one to Midgar.
Either that or, which I think is more likely, just a new battle. And I'm pretty sure we also battle her on the boat, because taking that away would completely change the whole boat scene.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, they could have added this one just because, I mean, you know, with the changes to the story, I got not the story, but like, you know what I mean? They're extending the stories and fleshing everything out. Then they probably added it in. So it just made more sense.
Yeah.
I guess.
We need a Genova battle in at least once in each game. So that's probably their thinking. Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, I have a question for you two. Where do you think this battle takes place?
Oh my god.
I have like I thought that I think it's like the top, the president's where the president Shinra is, like the top floor.
Good guess.
That's interesting.
Yeah, that's just what came to mind when I watched the trailer for like the 100th time or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think I don't know. It looks like it's underground to me.
Yeah, it seems that way, but if you look closely, when Sephiroth appears in this purple haze and then disappears, we are in the president's office. That much is clear, because we do see the red carpet and the desk in the background. That for one. Second, I first thought, those two are not connected, because they usually do those weird trailer cuts, which suggest something different. But then I noticed Red and Aerith are there practically in the same position, and Tifa is almost on the ground, like crouching on all fours, when Sephiroth disappears, and in the next shot, she gets up from below. So those two are connected. So my guess is complete illusion. At least the surroundings.
Oh.
Ah, cool.
Yeah. What's also interesting, I didn't notice it, but didn't quite catch it. But Chip Noir messaged me and told me that those green cube thingies or like square prisms in the back are kind of reminiscent of the battle environment where we battled Genoa Synthesis in the original game. Like the floor was also made up only of
Oh,
those
okay.
square pillars,
Mm-hmm.
green ones,
Mm.
and we can see those in the background, and even in the black floor, we see squares all over the place. So I'm pretty sure this is an illusion, kind of meshed with her hive, so to speak, in the northern crater or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just my current theory. Little sneak
I've-
peek in my analysis video.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I'm like, I have to go back and rewatch it now.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
I have to.
you really
Yeah,
need
me
to.
too.
Yeah.
So many things that I guess I missed. Like to be honest with you though, the cuts are so fast that
Oh, yeah.
it's so, it's really easy to miss, I guess, those details, because when I was watching that, I wasn't looking at the floor. Like I was looking at, I guess, what's going on like in front of me. I did see the kind of the alien growth, I guess,
Yeah.
pillars with these things like in the background. But I'm gonna watch it again actually when we're done recording.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, you should. The good thing is when I watch trailers for a third, fourth time or something like that, I have them downloaded, load them into Premiere Pro, and then step
Mhm.
through it frame by frame. And I can go back and forth how many frames I want, and it's really easy to catch many things you usually don't catch, even with 0.25 speed on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, cool.
So this
So now
makes-
you're giving
makes
away your
things easier.
secrets.
Yeah. Well, I did mention it before I started the rough analysis in my trailer reaction video. So
Mm-hmm. All right, guys. So what were your overall thoughts on the trailer? I'm gonna start. So I thought that it was really well done. I love that it gave us more of story elements, I guess, at the beginning, even though the cuts were so fast and we're not sure which scenes relate to one another, because they've been doing a really good job of giving us a look at things, but not consecutive to give too much away, I guess, about the
Mhm.
story and
Yeah.
what, everything. I thought the voice acting was really good. I'm super pleased with it. I loved that we got an Anagi reveal, which what I was waiting for a while now.
Not just you, everyone.
Yeah, just when we thought that we weren't going, not that we weren't going to get more, but we didn't really need to see any more to get any more hyped about this game. They did this, and now it's like, oh my gosh, I was so excited to just play this
Yeah.
game.
Hype level is over 9,000.
Yeah.
So what do you think, Robin?
This since 2015 when this was like announced, it still feels unreal. And as I said, every time I see something new, I get so emotional. And when I saw this trailer, this was like I almost had a heart attack. It's like the whole package of this remake. It just looks so amazing, and I just want to go to bed and wake up in April. Even though I have like 2 kids to take care of and stuff, I just want to put myself in like a frozen chamber or something.
Yes.
And, like, oh, it's April now. Cool, I can play the game. Yeah. So I can only like sum it up like that. It's impossible to describe the feelings I had towards this trailer. It was just mind-blowing in so many ways.
Agreed. What do you think, Vyzz?
Yeah, I said at first I was a little bit apprehensive about watching everything because I knew before I watched it that they revealed so much, like Sephiroth, Red, and whatever. So I was thinking, do I want to? But no, I had to, because I need to analyze things. So I watched it and was blown away. So it almost made up for spoiling practically everything. But I do think they have so much more in store. So, for example, we haven't seen Elmira yet. We haven't seen Ifalna yet. We haven't seen Child Aerith yet. There are probably a few other things I missed. And I'm pretty sure we also didn't see so many new content. They haven't shown us yet. So there's still so much to explore and to be excited about, I think. But the trailer itself, it was really well done. As we've all said in the beginning, it had 2 parts. First one was the theme song. Second part was more the battle and gameplay part with an orchestrated version of Those Who Fight Further, which I really like. And yeah, the cuts were also really well made and fit the music very well.
Yeah, I have a friend that they've kind of fallen off of Final Fantasy. I guess because, when 10 came out, they had voice acting. So, and the theme of 10, they didn't really like it. They haven't really been following the 7 remake at all. So I showed him the video, and we kind of been talking about it because, I do the podcast and everything. And that was his favorite game growing up, 7 and everything. But he is super excited actually from, like, I only showed him this trailer basically, and he was just like, wow, like for them to stay so, I guess, close to the original, but also, push it forward and flesh it out more, and just seeing that, he's super motivated to kind of get back into the series. So I think that's great. Especially too for Square Enix, for other people that kind of feel the same, where maybe they took a break from playing Final Fantasy games over the past years. So I think what they're doing is really effective.
I think so too. Yeah.
For old fans and new fans, and also people that just aren't even haven't played any Final Fantasy games. So
yeah, and I think that Square Enix is well aware about they cannot screw this up. This is it's so much that depends on this game for the future of the company. So they need to satisfy as much people as possible, old fans and new fans, basically.
And what really helps is that many people on working on the project are really fans of the original, have played it and loved it, and this passion, you feel it, that most people working on it really have a passion for this project, and everything you hear about that behind the scenes is promising, I think.
And the attention to details also,
Yeah, definitely. So many details. Which is good for my business.
Yeah.
Analyzing everything.
All right, guys, so we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll be chatting about our favorite Final Fantasy VII minigames, how they may be reimagined in the remake, and also some news about the game. All that and more after this. All right, everybody, welcome back to our episode of a Final Fantasy VII Remake podcast. I'm your host, Kairosis, and once again, we have my amazing co-host, Vyzz, joining us today, and Robin. So we are moving on to our second segment. We're talking about Final Fantasy VII minigames. So a member of our Discord server, Doc Dogger, wrote a question asking us what our favorite Final Fantasy VII minigames were and which ones we think will be in the remake and how they might be reimagined. So I went through and just kind of made a short list just as a recap of minigames. So we've got Chocobo breeding, we've got Chocobo racing, squat minigame, super dunk, we had G-bike or motorcycle chase, Fort Condor, snowboarding, submarine hunt, gold saucer. There's a bunch. So many minigames. So my favorites were definitely the Chocobo racing and the snowboarding minigames. I did like the G-Bike minigame as well, but I have to be honest with you, I didn't actually play every single one at the Gold Saucer because I I at the time, like, I was using this text guide thing that my friend had lent me, so I just basically did the ones that resulted in the best rewards. And I lost the Fort Condor minigame over and over again. So I actually found that one pretty annoying. But what about you, Viz?
I think my favorite one is G-Bike because I played this over and over to maximize my GP. At first, I
Right.
tried a little bit with the Super Dunk, but the timing is sometimes really, really aggravating, and so
Mm-hmm.
I went back and just played the G-Bike over and over again. I think mostly over 20,000 points, which
Oh my
yields 10 in
gosh.
GP or 20, I don't remember. But it
Mm-hmm.
was pretty fun. I got really good at it. I also really like the squats minigame. I don't really know. It's just the campiness of it, I think. And also I like rhythm games, and this is a rhythm game, so to speak. So yeah,
Yes.
I'm really looking forward to the remake version. We've already
Yeah.
seen this at Tokyo Game Show, and now it
Right.
seems to be a little bit, a little bit harder, maybe, or maybe not really harder, but you see which buttons you need to press and
Right.
the timing. Then the buttons go away. You have to remember them, and the timing keeps increasing or keeps
Mm-hmm.
getting faster and faster. And Tifa's pull-ups are there, which is new, which have a different order of the buttons, and I'm pretty sure Barrett also has a separate one, maybe bench press. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. And the music is awesome during that. The remake music
Mm-hmm.
really makes you pumped. And Chocobo breeding, Chocobo racing, I liked it kind of, but it also turned out to be really a chore and took so
Mm-hmm.
much time. I also used the reload trick, so when you didn't get the right outcome, you just reload and hope it's then you get the black or green chocobo, because just doing everything over and over again is nah, it's not worth my time. But racing was okay when you press down the shoulder buttons and
Mm-hmm.
select to increase your stamina, then it was good. So I think the balancing in that was kind of off. I hope it's
Mm-hmm.
much better in the remake. Fort Condor, didn't really have a problem with that. I usually made it work, but it also takes quite a while, even on the fastest speed.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I'm pretty sure that the remake will completely overthrow the whole balancing and how it's really working. So I'm looking forward to that as well. Snowboarding, love-hate relationship. I really like it if it works, but when you start just bumping into everything and
Mm-hmm.
they don't quite get the curves, and it can get really annoying. But I'm also looking forward to playing it in the remake. I'm pretty sure they're doing a good job with it. If Kingdom Hearts 3 is any indication, because that sliding down the snow hill minigame was pretty cool, I must
Yeah.
say. Yeah. But the submarine hunt, that could get an overhaul. That one
Mm-hmm.
was so clunky, extremely clunky. But yeah, you've also listed Tifa's piano, and I hope this returns. I
Mm-hmm.
liked playing on that.
Being from the cold parts of Sweden, I really enjoyed the snowboard minigame. Being an amateur snowboard rider myself, but I really did enjoy the whole chocobo breeding thing. It involves a lot of different elements, and the reward you get from finally breeding a golden chocobo is like totally worth it in my meaning. And the other mini games don't really reward you as much as the golden chocobo chase,
Mm-hmm.
really.
Yeah.
But and I mean the submarine game is Yeah, as you guys said, it's a bit clunky and definitely needs a rehaul. Because you can beat that minigame in like, or when it's a part of the game when you're chasing the huge materia, you can like win that battle in like 7 seconds if you just full gas ahead and just shoot torpedoes, and 7 seconds is all you need basically.
Yeah. Was about to say that. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, so that definitely needs like a complete remake. And also the Fort Condor game, I really liked that one. I think it was pretty fun to play that.
Yeah, it was. It just was too slow.
For me, it was slow, and I don't know. I failed at it many times, so it might have just been me being a kid and not like understanding what to do. I don't know.
There is a good strategy. You just the one thing that pushes these huge boulders down. You should just like put them on top and then have like the small soldiers just occupy the lower parts of the map, and then it's a victory.
Oh, okay. Well, where were you back then?
I was here in the cold Sweden riding a snowboard.
Yeah, exactly. At the dawn of internet and everything.
Yeah. I miss those days.
Yeah. And what I'm wondering is what happens with some smaller minigames like the dolphin jumping, the CPR minigame with Priscilla, or even the item grabbing when you fall down the train tracks when going to Corral.
Yeah, I remember that.
It's not really a minigame, but you fall down sometimes when you don't hit the jump button right away. And then you can like push left or right and keep pressing X, and then there's, I think, 3 lanes. If you don't do nothing, you fall down in the middle.
Yeah.
If you go left, you fall down to the left, and I think each of the falling points have items on different places. So if you want to get all of them, you just have to know which way to go. And I kind of like those little mini games that just come out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And to surprise you. I really like that. But I'm not sure about the CPR if they manage to do this right when it doesn't look weird. I don't know. And dolphin jumping, maybe jumping through hoops. I don't know.
Yeah,
could work, I guess. But just to get up there, I don't think it will be a mini game. Maybe it's a mini game bit before or after, later. But when going up there, right now I can't see to make it work, because in the original just couldn't do anything, or you don't have to do anything. Just press X twice and you're up there.
Yeah, I felt that scene was like out of place even in the original game. It just felt so weird being taking help from like a dolphin. I was like, what's going on? I was like so confused. It felt so strange, really.
Yeah, and the others just got up there by other means. Why didn't we get up there too, like normal people?
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe Priscilla just wants to see us jump up there just for the laughs or something. I don't know. And in the end, Cloud didn't really need to do that, and he realizes too late, and the girl got me. Damn. Maybe, I don't know.
I can see some of these being replaced maybe with quick time events, like how modern games have like quick time events. In the remake anyway, because some of these, I think that was their idea going into maybe just the creation of the original 7. It was like their version of quick time events that happen now because they didn't have the technology. So some of these things might be the story related ones maybe, instead of technically being like their own mini games. So talking about the remake and the minigame. So which ones do you think, Vyzz, will be added to the remake? Like, do you think they're all going to be in there?
I think most. They talk about that minigames will be there, but some will be taken out, and there will be new ones or something like that. I vaguely remember. But I think most of them, especially the memorable ones, will stay for sure. But as I said, the CPR and the dolphin jumping, they were there, but those can just be woven into the story and not be minigames at all. So that's why I think those might not make it. Maybe just optional minigames, as I said, with the dolphin jumping through hoops. They could be fun, but just as pastime, as fun pastime.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you're right. I think that the minor ones we'll see them just being part of this, like the story where it's like a quick time event or something like that, and then if you do it properly, you might get a reward from doing it. Like experience, or an item drop, or like you might get materia or something like that. And then, like you said, the more popular ones, they might actually build upon those, like we've already seen with the squat minigame, or improve them so that they're brought into the modern age, I guess, of gaming, and just updated so that they're less frustrating and the mechanics work better.
Yeah. And the G-Bike also got the huge upgrade. According to the trailers and stuff, we know that there is a boost mechanic. I've also seen a ramp somewhere in the background, so ramps are a thing. And enemies can throw grenades, so they're really going all in with those mini games, I think.
Yeah, I think the whole G-Bike thing will be a huge part in the remake, and I think that there might be like an arcade somewhere in Midgar where you can go and you can ride the G-Bike in an arcade or something like that, because they've put so much focus into the motorbikes. In every trailer you see a motorbike, so and that goes when I'm thinking about the G-Bike game on, was like a cell phone game or something, smartphone game.
Yep.
And I think that that inspired them to expand the whole bike thing in the remake, actually.
Probably, yeah. I also think that the G-Bike will occur a few times during the story, like traveling up the plate or down. Like this new Avalanche side mission. I've already made a whole analysis video on that. It's probably the first time we can actually play this. And the motorcycles they use are called Motonox Gust. So it's kind of a lesser model. I'm pretty sure we get better models, and the Hardy Daytona will then be the ultimate model. That's my guess. So I think we'll be able to travel up and down between slums and the plates.
Okay.
Maybe even willy-nilly if we can run around, or maybe there are racing tracks somewhere in the slums. I don't know, but I'm pretty sure we'll not just race up there once and then escape from Midgar and that's it, because that would be a waste of resources.
Yeah, exactly.
It would be really cool if they kept the old versions, like you said, and they put them in the remake, like the original mini games.
Yeah.
But you go to like a arcade, and then they're there, and you can play them there or something like that, the originals, and still get rewards for playing them. That would be pretty cool.
Yeah,
definitely. Like in Uncharted 4. Spoilers for those who haven't played Uncharted 4. They have, I think it's twice. It's in chapter 4 and in the epilogue, where you're able to play the original Crash Bandicoot. And it's really well woven into the story. It's pretty cool.
I love that scene, man.
Yeah, that's great. It's so wholesome.
Yeah, I love Nathan Drake as a video game character. Such an awesome guy.
He is, yeah.
Yeah, so if you haven't played Uncharted 4 yet, like, what are you doing?
Yeah, what are you doing? Go and buy a PlayStation Pro and play that thing.
It's worth it.
Definitely,
it is so worth it. Yeah, it's really good.
And also grab the Nathan Drake collection when you're at it, which has the first 3 games in it.
Is that free this month? No, I think it was free with PlayStation Plus. I think it was free last month, I think, for January.
Could be, I don't remember.
Yeah. All right, guys. So moving on to our next segment, we're talking about any news or any new details that were released, I guess, talking about the Final Fantasy VII Remake. So Square Enix did release an article featuring some comments from the composers that are featured in the game. All right, so it looks like we got an outlook basically from the three composers. We got some interesting information from Nobuo Uematsu about his experience composing for the original Final Fantasy VII way back in 1997. So obviously being, asked to come back again. Did he compose for the remake? I forget.
Nobuo Uematsu composed the Hollow soundtrack for sure. The rest, not sure. We don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
My guess is that he's taking on a supervisory role and supervises Masashi Hamauzu and
Yeah.
Mitsuto Suzuki. Pretty sure. And
Yeah,
those
that's
are
my
the
guess
main.
too.
Yeah, and those are the main arrangers and probably also composers of new tracks. One new track we have already heard in the E3 and Symphonic Reunion and the State of Play trailer. There was this new track which I didn't like at first because it sounded like a generic trailer music, trailer soundtrack. But it's probably one that's composed entirely by one of the new guys. New to Final Fantasy VII at least. And there's also a more demure version of it. I think it's the background music of the theme, the FF7 remake theme on PS4. But I don't think we have heard any new music so far. All the other tracks were rearrangements of existing ones. So yeah, I'm pretty sure Nobuo Uematsu isn't really on the composer side, except the Hollow theme song, but the rest is probably just making sure that the other guys don't mess up his compositions.
I'm just happy to see him back in health, really.
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah, something interesting that I got from the article was that he basically states that he sat alone in his room every day working, tirelessly on the music for the original Final Fantasy VII, but he didn't listen to anybody's opinions or ask anybody's opinions about what he was making. And then he just went with what he did basically alone in his room, and that was what became the soundtrack for the game. So I thought that was pretty
That's
incredible.
Pretty interesting, yeah.
It's an amazing soundtrack till this day,
It is, yeah, I love it.
All right, so from the official Final Fantasy VII Remake Twitter, we did get a new artwork of the party on the Fallen Bridge after escaping from Shinra headquarters. There is a comparison image of the original with the new artwork. I couldn't find it online, but I did see it. It was on Facebook. It looks like the colors for the sunset colors were very consistent. And they moved the characters closer to the edge. Before they were kind of dispersed more evenly, like there was some in the back and some in the front kind of thing. But yeah, I think this picture is beautiful. I downloaded it and it's currently my background on my computer.
Yeah, same
here.
Yeah. Well, I do have almost 500 images that rotate. So it's just one of almost 500. But it's in there. And what I believe is that this specific shot is not like a screenshot from the game, but maybe a special composition for this specific screenshot. I'm assuming that's when you play the game, it won't be exactly this shot. I'm guessing. Right. Could be, but I don't know. It looks kind of staged to me.
Yeah, I don't think this is a screenshot. Is it a screenshot or is it artwork?
Artwork, I believe.
It's pre-rendered, I think.
Yeah,
like it's just pre-rendered key art.
Yes.
I zoomed in really close, and it looks like that. It doesn't look like a screenshot from in-game like render.
No.
Tifa looks a bit pasted in, I believe. She looks like she doesn't. I don't know if it's anything to do with the lightning or something. Just looks a bit weird to me. Or am I being too skeptical?
I don't think she's pasted in, but as I said, when the character placement is staged, then it kind of doesn't have the natural feel to it.
No.
So that's probably why. And also, I don't know who mentioned it, but seemed like Tifa's face or something has changed a little.
Yeah.
But Barrett also looks kind of sort of different, Aerith too. So that's why I think it's just a render from their pre-rendered models, or maybe even new models, or painted over, or I have no idea.
Is this the first screenshot we get to see Barrett without his glasses?
The first screenshot, but not the first image. When they were escaping the falling plate.
The tower, yeah.
Yeah, he also doesn't have the glasses then, the sunglasses. Yeah. So maybe they broke during the fight against Reno or something. I don't know. It's hard to say.
Yeah.
But Red 13 looks awesome here.
Mm-hmm.
Bright red with a flaming tail.
Yeah.
So they also posted that it was Aerith's birthday as well.
Yes.
So we got a little promo picture for Aerith. So that was pretty awesome. I didn't know her birthday. Did you know her birthday before?
I didn't. I don't remember the birthdays.
Yeah, same.
No.
Yeah, no, I don't know that stuff.
I probably knew it somewhere back in the back of my head somewhere, but nah, not really.
It only says that on the wiki and in the manual and stuff, and if I don't read that and keep reading it over and over again, I forget.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I should add reminders in my phone or something. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Then when Cloud's birthday comes up, then I can at least tweet about it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So, what are you guys playing right now? I'm playing Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. So I bit the bullet and I got it. It's really good.
Nice.
I'm still working my way through Jedi Fallen Order. I'm at this place where I can't figure out this puzzle right now, and also it bugged out. So like, I just got trapped in one area where I fell through a wall basically, and then I could.
No.
Yeah. It's like where you're I forget. Anyway, it's like the water is, there's electrical current going through the water, and I couldn't figure out how to shut it off basically.
Oh, I know
like
where
to get
you are. Yeah.
So then I went over to the little generator thing and I like force froze it, and I stood in the little crack that's there because I thought I had to go through there somehow, but then it unfreezes and starts turning again, and then it turned and it pushed me into the wall and I got trapped, and I was like, I was just like, I'm done. Like, I just need to take breaks. So
yeah, that's fine.
And then just playing Dota 2, and I play Overwatch as well. But honestly, with the state of everything that's happening with Blizzard right now, I did uninstall it. So I don't know if I'll go back to Overwatch.
Oh yeah. Blizzard. How far you have fallen.
Yeah, R.I.P. Blizzard.
Yeah.
I did buy Reforged too, and I got a refund for it because it was just not.
Oh, you got a refund? Oh, that's good. I've heard that Blizzard refused to pay refunds. At first, at least.
Yeah, they changed their mind. But you know what, Blizzard? If you're listening and you want to remake games, you should basically follow Square Enix.
Yep, definitely.
Yep.
And just flesh it out and not just do an HD like texture pack.
And don't replace the old one, please.
Imagine if Square Enix just was like, you know what? We're getting rid of 7 OG. Like, you just can't get it anymore.
Yeah. It's like the PT, the teaser for Silent Hills. You can't get it anymore either.
Yeah.
Yeah. People would lose their minds.
Yeah. And sell PS4s on eBay for $1,000 with with FF7 on it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What are you playing, Vyzz?
I finally managed to finish Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order last week when I took a break from CCO business because I really needed to shut down for a week. Mm-hmm. But it got cut short by 3 days because the trailer dropped. So, okay.
Yeah.
Well, fine. I'll get back into it. But I managed to finish Jedi Fallen Order first, so that's good. And I'm still in the first episode of Life is Strange 2. I haven't been able to continue it for like 2 or 3 weeks. I do plan to play Kingdom Hearts 3 Remind DLC, but I haven't downloaded it yet, and today I didn't have time either. So who knows when I'll be able to play it. But yeah, I have too little time to play games anyway. I also wanted to start Dragon Ball Z Kakarot, but oh, time, where have you gone?
I know, right? I just started that one, so yeah, I'm the same way. Just trying to find the time to do everything. It's really hard. And what about you, Robin? What are you playing right now?
I review games for my podcast, so I tend to get them a few weeks in advance. But I've been busy this like last few weeks with life and sick kids and stuff, so I'm like catching up on stuff right now, because I've had Dragon Ball Kakarot laying around for a long time, and I've recently started to play that, and it's awesome. We didn't really have Dragon Ball here in Sweden, not on TV or anything, but we did get the manga books, and that was like in the year of 2000 or something.
Oh wow! Okay.
I haven't really seen the show at all. So I'm playing the game instead.
Nice.
Yeah, and I've also just recently finished Luigi's Mansion 3 with my son. That was awesome. And I'm also playing Tetris 99 on the Switch to calm down after a hard day's work.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah.
Yeah, it's so addicting, that game, you know.
I've heard.
And I was so mad the other night because I finished like in 4th place or something, and I was like, man, why couldn't I win this one game?
Oh man, I feel ya.
Yeah, that's how I got with Overwatch, where I come home and then I'm like ready to relax and I jump in and play games, but then my team would be really bad and I'm good, but I'm not like, you know, crazy. I usually main support or whatever, but just like I would suggest, you know, like, hey guys, maybe you should counter their picks, like choose counter picks. And I'm like explaining, trying to help people. They just get mad. They just rage in chat and all chat and then, or in voice chat, sorry. And then, yeah, they would all report me. And then I just get banned for like.
Seriously?
Really?
Oh yeah, dude, the community is really bad. Just honestly for suggesting like, and they're like, you're a support, shut up, blah blah. And I'm like, oh okay. Anyway, so
you get banned for suggesting what? Okay.
Well, if they all report me together, like,
okay, yeah,
then pretty much they don't investigate. They just do like an auto ban, basically.
That sucks.
Yeah, it's sad.
I tend to stay away from online gaming where you have the option of you know, speaking to others and texting others, because in my opinion the whole like online community in certain type of games are just so toxic, and it would, you know, it would fill me up with negative energy, and I don't really need that in my life. So
yeah, that's the point that I'm at. Yeah.
I've heard from a lot of people that they just mute the others and just play online.
Yeah, that's a better way of doing it.
Yeah, definitely.
That's less what I do when I play Dota 2. I just like mute everybody and just play.
Yeah.
All right, so I just want to go ahead and remind everybody that we are giving away a deluxe physical edition of the Final Fantasy VII Remake to one lucky listener. So what you have to do is you have to subscribe to the podcast, leave us a 5-star rating, and write us a text review on any of the podcast mediums that you use. And hopefully the draw will happen during our episode of the week of April the 6th before the game comes out on the 10th, and then I'll put it in the mail for you guys. Some people also were stating that they can't leave a review on Spotify, and there is a few other podcast platforms. So if you want to go ahead to our YouTube channel as well, we do have a YouTube channel. You can write a subscribe and write a comment on one of our videos there. All right, so if you guys have any questions or any ideas for what we can cover in our next episodes, you can write them in. You can join our Discord and write them in our suggested topics or questions channels as well. So where can we be reached? You can reach us at thereunionpodcast@gmail.com. That's thereunionpodcast@gmail.com. We do have a Twitter. It's at reunion_podcast. We have a Facebook as well. It's also at Reunion Podcast. Like I said earlier, we do have a YouTube channel. It's the Reunion Podcast. So once we start posting some special video content, it'll be on our YouTube channel as well. And I just want to go ahead and let everybody know that there is a Final Fantasy VII Remake launch party that's happening from KupoCon that's happening in Toronto. So I'm actually in Canada, so I'll be heading to Toronto for February the 29th, which is a Saturday, there to celebrate the launch of the game. So what happened was, just so you guys know, so basically this was booked way in advance, and this was booked before the game got delayed. So the organizers of KupoCon, they couldn't actually reschedule everything, and people had like booked their flights and everything to Toronto. So they just said, you know what, we're just going to go ahead with the celebrations. So I'll be headed there. So if you guys are listening and you'll be there, I'll be there for the podcast. So I'll be handing out stickers and t-shirts. And if you want to have your chance to basically be featured on the podcast, just come up and have a chat, and I'll go ahead and record our conversation so I can put that on the podcast. I think that would be awesome.
Definitely looking forward to that.
All right, Robin. So do you want to go ahead and drop your social media for everybody so they can check you out?
Yeah, sure. If there are any Swedish listeners out there, you can check out Ky Pixlar. It's on all podcast apps and sites, and it's everywhere. However, if you do not speak Swedish, I have done a few interviews in English with some voice actors from like Shenmue 3 and Metal Gear Solid, and you can look them up on YouTube if you are interested. So it's just search on YouTube for Par I Pixlar, pair in Pixlar or something in English. I don't know how to pronounce it. But there are some cool interviews I've done and posted there, so you can check them out.
Perfect. So I'm going to go ahead and I will link your social media, Robin, in the description for this episode. Cool. And people can just click on the links and check your stuff out there. And also, I do put a link to our Discord channel as well. So all you have to do is click that link. It'll take you to our Discord server, and you can just join that way. Yeah.
And I will also talk about this experience in the next episode of my podcast. Even though it's in Swedish, I want to link to you guys and stuff. Mm-hmm. So yeah.
Thank you. Means a lot.
So on behalf of myself and Vyzz, I just want to say a huge thank you to you, Robin, for taking the time out of your super busy schedule to join us today on the podcast. We really appreciate everything that you're doing with your podcast and for the gaming community in Sweden and beyond. So I just want to say a huge shout out to you and wish you all the success in the world.
Thank you so much, and really the pleasure was all mine. You guys have been awesome putting up this podcast, and I'm a true fan, as I said, from the first episode. And hey, we're almost there. It's almost April, guys. Mm-hmm. We the wait is almost over.
I can't wait.
I mean, neither. I'm shaking.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in, and all the best.
Stay safe and take care.
All right.
Bye.
Bye, guys.